I said I was going to get Agua, but I don't care. We'll just do this. Alright, so we got LukasL as the Lakota, our first Native American of the night, and then we got Wezy as the Hausa. Very, very different picks than what we've seen tonight. Hausa is a African civ, a bit similar to Ethiopia and a bit not. For as far as the start is concerned, it's a bit similar to Ethiopia in the sense that you build a granary right away to lure in all those hunts and get the boosted gather rate from around the structure, which is quite nice. And then from there, things will go off in a bit of a different direction, since you do not get mountain monasteries with Hausa, but you do get universities. Big schools that trickle influence for you and contain all of your special alliance techs. So it behooves you to try to get a university sooner rather than later so you can get a ton of special units, right? The biggest one being the Iconocobia, which is a really strong musketeer that actually does one splash and is a pretty good backbone to most early Hausa armies. So yeah, quite good. How many decks? That's quite a bit, so I'll just wait for him to pick his thing. Oh, again, the village dogs right away. That's a good choice. Essentially, it's a wood-only hunting dogs tech. Whereas Lakota are actually kind of similar to the African civs. So instead of building a free granary, they have to shell out about 50 wood to build a teepee. And the teepee, similar to the granary, gives you a building gather rate boost around it. So yeah, you usually want to place your teepee around an area that you know you're going to be doing all your hunting in, and then you get a ton of gather rate from it, which is quite nice. And then as well, the teepee will also boost the hit points of the units nearby as well. So if you're trying to defend your base as Lakota, your Axe Riders, you name it, will get more HP from these as well, which is quite good. So what's the deck look like? So we got 3 vills sent. We do have friendly territory. TPs gain significantly more hit points, and then the TPs will improve the attack speed and range of nearby units as well. So it becomes a much better defensive building then, or offensive one, depending on how you're using it. And then as far as H2, it looks like a pretty standard Lakota deck in that sense. You got all your military options as well as camp movements. This essentially turns you into the Mongols, where you can take your war huts and actually you can take most of your buildings and deconstruct them and move them to other spots. Like if you have like a corral and a war hut in your base, but you want to go offensive, you can like take them apart, move them to another position totally for free. And then Great Hunter. Great Hunter is a card that's better the later you wait for it. Essentially, it takes 10% of all the food that you get from animals and adds it to a total. And then when you send the card, it gives you that total, up to 1.5k food. So if you use it to its fullest extent, it's essentially like sending an H4 food crate card, instantly into your hand. On top of that, it also boosts your hunting rate by 20%, so it has long-term value even after you send the card. So, yeah. And basically with Lakota, of course, they're one of the only civs that you can ship in huntables. So, yeah, 20% hunting rate does help you throughout the game as Lakota, which is quite nice. And then some other important cards here for H3 will be Rifle Rider, Wakina Rifles, potentially the Axe Rare ones. And then you get some support cards here too, to give the Axe Rare more hit points, and then more hit points to the Wakinas as well. Yeah.
Ohan. So ya etancha iblamenikte.
starting with Bow Rider. Now, that's an interesting option. You know, that's something we used to see a lot in the old days in Wars of Liberty, is starting out with Bow Rider because of their mobility. But as they sort of stripped the identity of the Dragoon unit a bit and what it countered, that kind of went away. But in good old the 5th edition, where Dragoons kind of act like Dragoons should, starting Bow Rider can be pretty good, you know. It can give you some rating potential if you can mass them up. Obviously, you'll do great against Hussars as well, and anything of that class, also artillery. So yeah, starting Bow Riders is definitely a viable thing to do in Definitive Edition. Not Wars of Liberty, but the Definitive Edition, you can start out with Bow Riders, and it can go pretty good. Yeah, definitely. Looks like Hausa went Javelin Riders, and they're actually aligned with the Comanches too. So they're going more of a native setup right now. As you can see here, they got a university to help them trickle in some influence so they can continue to train more Comanche horse archers. Keep up with them. Yeah. Oh, and there's the Fulani archers. The Fulanis have a bit of less range than a standard skirm, but they got a good rate of fire, so they shoot really fast. Pretty much, yep. Lakota is going for a semi-fast fortress, so they will be going to H3 now. Picking up the fur dressing at the tribal marketplace so they can boost the gather rate that they're collecting off of these mines as well. Yep. Is he gonna keep going Bow Rider or what? Yeah, it looks like he's still going Bow Rider. Seems like. Now, what is the Hausa gonna do? Is the Hausa gonna go full Fulani? Fulani? Yeah, full. He went full Fulani, full Ani to deal with his Bow Riders, and I think until we see something substantial out of the Lakota, Fulani is gonna serve its purpose quite well here. But we'll see, though. We'll see if that reigns true or not. Actually, he's gonna get a veteran upgrade on those bow riders, so he can do sort of a skirmisher dragoon clump with them. So I think should be pretty good here. I will say the Wakina rifle is looking a lot better than the Fulani at this point because it'll outrange them, and the damage is also better too, so that's good. Oh, he's got some raiders now too. These are essentially like little mini Sawars that the Hausa can get, and they're a very massive unit. They're actually more similar to step riders in the sense that you can have them for one pop, so you can mass them pretty easily, you know, pretty easily. See if who gets the first. Oh, Hausa got the first strike. Again, some nice shots there in the bow riders. You might want to pull those raiders away though, unless you're snaring. Alright, well, they seem to survive there, which I'm pretty surprised by. But where are the Wakina riflemen? So they're back on the base with some bow riders. It's good to get the Comanche trade language as soon as possible because it cheapens all your gold costs. So get it sooner rather than later if you have a Comanche native site under your control. Also, it's going to add in more Javelin Riders, I think, which is quite good. The Javelin Riders are actually another one-pop cab unit, so you can stack these pretty easily yourself if you can get a ton of them, you know. They can be quite the formidable opponent because there's so many of them. As I said, Wakina rifle would end up beating him out in the end. Not just because of the lack of upgrades, but because, you know, a gunpowder skirm is definitely going to take care of Fulani archers very easily, regardless. Big time. So that was a good battle. Let's find another one now.